Okay, let's dive in. We've gathered quite a bit of material here, notes, articles, bits of conversations, all focusing on something pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's all about how you can really change things by working on your mindset, building, better habits, and using positivity the right way.
Exactly. This deep dive is basically us unpacking all that stuff, material, from a series that was really focused on learning and personal growth.
Think of it as a shortcut, really, getting the key takeaways about believing you can improve, handling those tough internal things like comparison.
Oh yeah, comparison's a big one.
Definitely. And also, how to actually do things consistently, even when you don't feel like it, and using positive thinking as a real tool, not just wishful thinking.
And tucked away in here are some honestly surprising facts and really practical strategies, things you can actually use.
hmm
So where do we start?
Well, the sources really hammer home one fundamental point.
Hmm.
It all kicks off with your beliefs, what you think you're capable of. Right, that core idea. It's the difference between what they call a growth mindset and a fixed mindset.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. The growth mindset, based on what we've seen, is basically the belief that your abilities, your intelligence, your skills,
Hmm.
they aren't set in stone. You can develop them through hard work, learning, trying different strategies, sticking with it.
Okay, so it's about potential for change
Yeah.
and the fixed mindset.
That's the flip side. The assumption that, you've got a certain amount of talent or smarts, and that's kind of it. You're either good at something or you're not. End of story.
And there was this phrase that really distilled the growth mindset, wasn't there?
Yeah, I loved this. It's just 4 words. I'm not good at this yet.
Yet, that little word changes everything, doesn't it?
Totally. It shifts the whole focus from like needing to be perfect now,
Which is impossible.
right, to just focusing on progress over time. Mistakes become, well, not failures, but information, stepping stones.
There were mentions of Carol Dweck's work from Stanford in the notes.
Yeah, her studies really back this up. Showed that embracing challenges actually makes you mentally stronger, and kids who believe they could improve, they actually did better in school.
And it's crucial to stress, this isn't just for kids or students. The material was clear. Applies to all of us, adults too. You're never too old to learn or improve something.
That never too old to learn idea really came through.
So believing you can grow is step one. But let's be honest, that belief gets challenged a lot.
And the sources really dug into one of the biggest internal roadblocks, that feeling of just not being good enough.
Yeah, that awful feeling.
Yeah.
And it seems so linked to comparison.
Absolutely. The material pointed straight at comparing ourselves to others, especially now with social media where you're just seeing the curated, filtered highlights reel.
Right, not the messy middle or the mistakes.
Exactly. And it's not just social media. They mentioned comparison stuff from growing up, too, that can linger.
And the sources stress something important here. This is a universal feeling.
Yeah, that was comforting, in a way, that everyone, literally everyone, feels this sometimes. Even people who seem super confident on the outside.
So how does this not good enough feeling manifest?
Yeah.
The notes had some specifics.
They did. Internally, it's things like nagging self-doubt, feeling like you have to be perfect all the time.
That pressure.
Yeah. And there was a point from, I think, the British Association for Counseling and Psychotherapy about pretending you're fine when you're actually struggling. Putting on a mask?
And externally, what does it look like?
Well, it could be things like constantly seeking approval, needing validation from others, or avoiding challenges because you're scared of failing, making yourself small, people-pleasing, that kind of thing.
But the sources offered a really powerful antidote, didn't they? A
Yeah.
counter idea.
Yes, and it's so important. True self-worth doesn't come from your achievements or what others think. It comes from inside.
From recognizing your own value.
Exactly. Your kindness, your unique strengths, who you are fundamentally. They use this lovely phrase calling the self a treasure.
A treasure. I like that. It reframes everything.
It really does. And the main strategy offered for dealing with that comparison trap. It sounds simple, but it's hard work. Focus on your own path, your own progress.
Not on where someone else is or what they've achieved.
Right. Stop looking sideways and look at your own journey. They suggested celebrating small personal wins. Like maybe you finally tackled that cluttered closet.
Huh. That's a real win.
Or you notice, hey, my language skills have actually gotten better over the last few months. It's about tracking your growth.
And that quote that kept coming up, connecting back to the mindset piece.
Oh, yeah. Failure isn't the end. It's part of the journey. Every mistake teaches us something.
Which means you really need patience with yourself through all this.
Absolutely. It's a process, not an overnight fix.
Mm-hmm.
The sources emphasize patience.
Okay, so we've talked mindset, handling comparison,
Yeah.
the internal stuff. What about the practical side, like actually doing things, especially when you're just not feeling it, when the interest isn't there?
Ah, yes. The motivation dip. The sources definitely address this. They acknowledged interest is great. It fuels creativity, makes things feel easier.
There was some Stanford research mentioned, right?
Yeah.
About enjoyment and productivity.
Yeah.
Dopamine release.
Exactly. When you're enjoying something, it literally feels less like work. But, and this is a big but relying only on interest was flagged as a major pitfall.
Yeah, that's the procrastination trap right there. Waiting to feel inspired.
Which is where discipline becomes crucial. The material frames discipline not as, like, punishment, but as the essential tool you pull out when motivation is low. It keeps you going.
It's the engine when the initial spark fades.
Precisely. And they made a really interesting point. Consistent effort, the kind driven by discipline, actually builds creativity over time. It's like a muscle. You don't just wait for a eureka moment.
You got to put in the reps.
Mm-hmm. So, if interest isn't enough, how do you find motivation? The notes suggest connecting tasks to a bigger purpose, your why.
Like how it benefits your future self.
Oh,
Helps other people.
yeah, or aligns with your values. They brought up self-determination theory, the idea that we stick with things better when they feel personally meaningful.
Okay, that makes sense. And that leads naturally into habits, right? The sources spend a lot of time on habits.
They really did. Habits are positioned as, well, superpowers for your daily life. They automate things, save mental energy.
That Duke University study was surprising, like 40% of our daily actions are habits.
I know, right? Almost half our day is on autopilot. So good habits basically mean you're more productive and healthier without constantly having to force yourself.
And the mechanism is simple. The habit loop.
Super simple. It's a cue the trigger, then the routine, the action itself, and finally the reward, the payoff, the good feeling.
Cue, routine, reward. And that loop reinforces itself.
Exactly. And the strategy for starting new habits, the key takeaway was start ridiculously small, but be incredibly consistent.
Small and consistent.
Mm.
Not big and sporadic.
Right. There is a study mentioned, I think University College London, emphasizing consistency. Like, just commit to 10 minutes a day. The analogy used was brushing your teeth. You just do it. It's short. It's automatic.
What about breaking bad habits? Was it just about stopping?
No, actually. The advice was more nuanced. Instead of just trying to cut something out, which leaves a void, the idea is to replace the bad habit with a better one.
Ah, so fill the gap.
Yeah. Like, instead of doom scrolling on your phone first thing in the morning, maybe replace it with drinking a glass of water and doing some deep breathing. It serves a similar need for a transition, but it's constructive.
Smart. And how do you keep these habits going? Maintain momentum.
Tracking progress was a big recommendation. Journal, app, whatever works for you. Seeing that you're making progress, even small steps.
That Harvard research mentioned by Amabile and Kramer.
Yes, that's the one. It showed that seeing progress is incredibly motivating. It's positive feedback.
And rewards. Don't forget rewards.
Definitely. Treat yourself when you hit a milestone. It helps reinforce the habit and makes it feel, less like a chore long term.
Makes sense. Anything else on the action front?
Just the importance of balance, work and rest. There was another Stanford study reference about needing downtime to stay creative and productive. It's not about grinding 24/7.
Okay, good reminder. So we have mindset shifts, tackling internal blocks like comparison, building consistent habits through discipline. What's the final piece? How do you sustain all this?
The last major theme threaded through everything was the power of positive thinking, but used as a practical tool.
Okay, clarify that practical tool, because positive thinking can sound a bit fluffy.
Right, and the sources are clear. It's not about pretending problems don't exist or being happy all the time. That's unrealistic. It's more about acknowledging reality, but actively looking for the good, focusing on solutions, not just the problems.
Like that example they gave, being late for a meeting.
Exactly. Instead of spiraling into my day is ruined, you reframe. Okay, this happened. I'll apologize, catch up, and focus on making the rest of the meeting productive. It's a shift in response.
And this shift has real benefits beyond just feeling slightly better.
Apparently, yes. Tangible health benefits were mentioned, links to better stress management, resilience, maybe even longevity. The Mayo Clinic was cited.
Wow. Lower stress hormones, better sleep, immune system busts.
And even heart health. An American Psychological Association study suggested positive people might have a lower risk of heart disease. So it's not just in your head.
So how do you cultivate this? What are the practical steps from the sources?
Gratitude came up a lot. Simple things like keeping a gratitude journal, just jotting down 3 things you're thankful for each day. It literally shifts your focus away from what's wrong.
And helps your body relax, apparently.
Yeah. Then there's positive self-talk, actively catching those negative thoughts.
The inner critic.
Right, and consciously reframing them. So instead of, I can't handle this, try, okay, I'm doing my best here, or I can handle this step by step. The sources said your body actually listens to that self-talk. Kinder talk means less stress.
And questioning the negative thoughts, too. Like, is this really true?
Exactly, challenging that inner voice. Because changing your thoughts changes how you feel about yourself.
They also made a distinction, didn't they, between healthy positivity and toxic positivity.
Yes, that was important. Toxic positivity is the fake smile, everything's great
Yeah.
approach that ignores real problems. Healthy positivity acknowledges challenges, but gives you the resilience and sort of the spirit to actually face them.
Got it. What else?
Visualization was mentioned. Picturing yourself succeeding.
Like imagining giving that presentation confidently.
Yeah. Research suggests that vividly imagining success makes you more motivated and actually primes your brain, almost like you're already doing it. It's related to that modern idea of manifesting, but grounded in psychology.
Interesting. And your environment plays a role.
Big time. Being around supportive, positive people helps you stay positive. And it goes both ways. Sharing positivity benefits others and reinforces it in you.
So what about when things go wrong? Setbacks happen. How does positive thinking apply then?
It's about reframing again. Seeing difficulties not as failures, but as chances to learn. Asking, okay, what can I learn from this? Instead of just feeling defeated.
Like that Thomas Edison story. All those attempts weren't failures.
They were learning opportunities, finding thousands of ways not to make a light bulb. Each attempt taught him something.
It's a great mindset shift.
And it all circles back finally to self-acceptance, which we talked about with comparison.
Right. Recognizing you're enough, just as you are.
Yeah. True positivity includes that self-kindness. Even simple things, like focusing on your breath for a moment to calm down, support that feeling of self-acceptance and reduce stress.
So the overall message seems to be patient, keep going.
Absolutely. Progress is progress, no matter how small. Don't discount the small steps. Just keep showing up.
Okay, so pulling it all together from this deep dive, it seems like we have this interconnected set of tools. Mastering your mindset, that growth belief.
Yeah, navigating comparison by focusing inward, building those consistent habits, using discipline.
And then fueling it all with practical, positive thinking. Not wishful thinking, but real strategies.
Exactly. It's a toolkit for facing challenges and fostering genuine growth.
And these aren't just, abstract concepts. These are real insights from the material that you, listening, can actually think about and apply right now to whatever you're dealing with.
We talked about shifting perspective, seeing mistakes as lessons, focusing on your own progress, starting small with habits, being consistent, tracking things.
Replacing bad habits, not just stopping them. Practicing gratitude, positive self-talk, using visualization.
Building a supportive environment, learning from setbacks, it's all in there.
So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with based on all this. Consider this. What if just one small adjustment today in how you view a challenge, or one tiny new habit you start, or even just a single moment of being kinder to yourself, what if that could be the spark, the beginning of some really significant lasting growth on your own unique path?